The galaxy's elite academy floated in space like a shining crown. It was built from silver metal and living crystal. For 1,000 years, it trained the strongest minds and warriors of the galaxy. Only the best species were allowed inside. Humans were never invited. That was why the silence was so heavy when a human girl stepped through the main gate. Her name was Aria Vale. She was small compared to the others. No thick skin, no claws, no glowing eyes, no psychic mark on her head. Just a human girl in a simple gray uniform. Students from powerful races stopped walking. Some stared. Some laughed quietly. Others looked confused. A human? One of them whispered. This must be a mistake. Aria walked forward calmly. Her face showed no fear, but inside her heart beat fast. She could feel thousands of eyes on her. Above the gate, the academy's massive scanners moved over her body. Blue light passed from head to toe. For a moment, the screen froze. Exactly 3 seconds. No one noticed. Then the system restarted. Status accepted. Murmurs spread through the crowd. The teachers exchanged looks. They did not like this. Humans were known as weak, slow, too emotional. The academy accepted warriors who could lift metal walls, bend minds, or control energy. Aria could do none of that, or so they believed. She was led into the main hall, a place larger than a city square. Holograms of past champions floated in the air. None of them were human. Aria felt small, but also strange. As she stepped inside, the lights above flickered once. Far below the academy, deep under layers of sealed metal, something ancient shifted. A door that had never opened reacted to her presence. A single red symbol lit up. The first announcement echoed through the academy. New students prepare for orientation. Aria was placed at the end of the line. Other students moved away from her. Some looked at her like she was a joke. Others like she was a disease. One tall alien with black armor laughed openly. She won't last one day, he said. Humans break easily. Aria heard him. She said nothing. She had learned long ago that silence was safer. As the group moved through the halls, Aria felt something strange again. The walls felt familiar, not the shape. Not the design, the feeling. Like she had been here before. That made no sense. She was born on a small human colony world, far from this place, yet her hands shook slightly as they passed a locked hallway. Behind that door, something called to her. That night, the students were sent to their sleeping pods. Aria lay still, staring at the ceiling. The academy was quiet. Too quiet. Then the lights dimmed. Security systems across the academy glitched at the same time. Cameras froze. Sensors blinked off and on. In the control room, alarms tried to start but failed. Deep below, the ancient door unlocked itself. Just a little. Aria sat up suddenly. Her chest burned. Images filled her mind. Stars collapsing. Ships burning. Entire worlds silent and broken. She gasped for air. Her eyes glowed for a heartbeat, then returned to normal. She did not see it, but the academy did. A system message appeared on a hidden screen, visible only to the highest level systems. Genetic seal weakening. Status human subject detected. Far away beyond the academy, something old and dangerous felt the change, and it smiled. Back in her room, Aria slowly lay down again. She whispered without knowing why, "I'm not ready." But the galaxy had already noticed her, and there was no turning back. Morning came without warmth. Artificial light filled the academy halls as a sharp sound woke every new student. It was not a bell. It was a warning. Orientation tests will begin immediately, the system announced. Failure means removal. Aria stood up quietly. Around her, other students showed confidence. Some smiled. Some stretched powerful limbs. Some let energy crackle around their hands. Aria had none of that. She followed the others into the testing wing, a massive chamber made of dark metal. The floor was marked with deep scars, signs of past failures. High above, instructors watched from behind glass walls. Many of them focused on Aria. "Why is the human still here?" one instructor asked coldly. "She should have been rejected." "She passed the scanners," another replied. "Barely." The first test began without warning. The floor vanished. Gravity shifted violently. Students fell into a deep vertical chamber where gravity increased every second. Strong bodies resisted. Winged species struggled to fly. Heavy creatures slammed into the walls. Aria fell too. Her body hit the ground hard. Pain rushed through her spine. She wanted to scream, but she didn't. Instead, she curled her body close to the ground. She remembered something her mother once said. When the world pushes you down, stay low until it gets tired. Gravity doubled, then tripled. Bones cracked. Several students blacked out. Aria crawled forward inch by inch. Her muscles burned. Her vision blurred. But she kept moving. The system finally stopped. Only a few students remained conscious. Aria was one of them. An instructor leaned closer to the screen. That makes no sense. The second test was combat. Training drones filled the arena. Fast, sharp, merciless. Other students attacked with power. Energy blasts. Claws. Mental strikes. Aria stood still. She watched. The drones moved in patterns. Small ones attacked first. Large ones waited. She noticed heat building inside their cores. So she ran. Not toward them. Away. The drones chased her. Minutes passed. The drones overheated. One by one, they shut down and fell. Aria collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. The arena went silent. A student shouted angrily, "That's cheating." An instructor replied slowly, "No, that's survival." Between tests, students whispered, "She's strange. She doesn't fight like anyone else. She should be dead." Aria drank water quietly, her hands shaking. Her body hurt everywhere, but something deeper felt calm. Like this pain was familiar. That scared her. The third test was mental pressure. Students were placed in separate chambers. Fear was injected directly into the mind. Nightmares. Regret. Loss. Aria's chamber went dark. Her worst memory appeared. Her colony world burning, sirens screaming, her father pushing her into a shelter, the door closing, never opening again. Tears fell down her face. Her heart pounded. Then something changed. The fear didn't grow. It faded. Her mind grew quiet. A voice echoed inside her, not loud but clear. "You have survived worse." The system reading her mind began to overload. Numbers spiked, then flatlined. The instructor stared in shock. Her fear response stabilized itself, one whispered. "That's impossible." By the end of the day, only a few students remained. Aria stood among them, exhausted and bruised. The same armored alien from before walked past her and hissed, "You got lucky, human." Aria looked at him. Her eyes were tired but steady. "I've never been lucky," she said softly. That night, Aria returned to her pod. She fell asleep instantly. But the Academy did not sleep. Hidden systems activated, old files unlocked. A forgotten human symbol appeared on sealed archives. Deep below, the ancient door opened a little more. And somewhere in the galaxy, something ancient adjusted its course. The human girl had passed the first tests, and the Academy had just made its first mistake. The Academy changed after the tests. It was quiet in a different way. Aria noticed it the next morning. The halls were the same, but the feeling was not. Security drones followed her longer than before. Cameras turned when she passed. She kept her head down and said nothing. High above, in a restricted tower, Professor Kelthrex watched her on a floating screen. He was old even by galactic standards. His species had seen empires rise and fall. And he was afraid. "Pull up her genetic file again," he ordered. The system hesitated. "Access limited," it replied. "Human data classified." Kale frowned. That alone was impossible. Humans were not important enough to be classified. Override with senior clearance. The screen flickered. Lines of human DNA appeared. At first it looked normal. Too normal. Kale leaned closer. There were gaps. Locked segments. Artificial seals woven into the code. Someone had designed this. "Who would do this to an entire species?" he whispered. The system answered with a warning tone. "Unauthorized curiosity detected." Kale ignored it and went deeper. What he found made his hands shake. The sealed sections were not empty. They were compressed, filled with patterns used only in ancient war species. But humans were not listed as one. They were listed as inactive. Down in the training halls, Aria prepared for advanced drills. Students avoided her now, not with laughter, with fear. 2 elite students blocked her path. One had 4 arms and glowing red eyes. "You don't belong here," he growled. "You make the Academy look weak." Aria tried to step around them. They didn't move. The air felt heavy. A training alarm suddenly sounded. Unscheduled combat detected. The doors locked. The fight was now official. The students smiled. They attacked together. Fast, violent. Aria raised her arms to protect herself. Then something inside her moved. Not anger. Not panic. Memory. Her body shifted without thought. She stepped between attacks. She struck pressure points she did not know the names of. She disarmed without breaking bones. In seconds, both attackers were on the ground, unable to move. The entire hall stood frozen. Aria stared at her own hands. They were shaking. "What did I just do?" she whispered. An instructor rushed in, furious. "This is unacceptable," he shouted. "Take her away." But the system spoke first. "Combat result verified. Human subject acted in self-defense." The instructor went silent. That night, Professor Kyle secretly met Aria. He led her to a small observation room. "Sit," he said gently. Aria obeyed. "You don't know what you are," Kyle said. "I know I'm human," Aria replied. Kyle shook his head slowly. "That is what scares me." He showed her the DNA scans. Aria didn't understand them, but she felt something stir inside her. "These seals," Kyle continued, "they are ancient. Older than the Academy, older than most civilizations." "Why are they on humans?" Aria asked. Kyle hesitated. "Because long ago," he said quietly, "humans ended a war no one else could." Aria's breath caught. "That's impossible." "No," Kyle said. "What's impossible is that everyone forgot." Before he could say more, alarms blared. Red lights filled the room. "Security breach," the system announced. Kale's screen went dark. His access was revoked. "Professor Kale Threx," the system continued. "You are ordered to cease all investigation." Kale turned to Aria. "They are afraid of you now," he said. "And fear makes people dangerous." Aria was escorted back to her pod. As she lay down, the walls hummed softly. The Academy was watching her. Deep below, the ancient door opened wider. A voice echoed faintly through the metal. Not sound. Meaning, "The key has awakened." Aria closed her eyes, tears slipping down her face. She didn't want to be a weapon, but something ancient inside her was stretching, slowly waking up. Far beyond the Academy, a dark fleet changed direction. They had felt the human signal. The sealed species was stirring, and the galaxy was no longer safe. The Academy leaders met in silence. They gathered in a high chamber made of black crystal, far from student eyes. Holograms floated in the center, showing one image again and again. "Aria Vale. She is unstable," one leader said. "She is human," said another with clear disgust. "She is dangerous," a third added quietly. Professor Kale's warning replayed in their minds, but none of them spoke his name. Fear filled the room. Fear always led to bad choices. "We must test her limits," the head overseer finally said. "If she breaks, we remove her. If she survives, we will know." "And if she doesn't?" one asked. The overseer's voice was cold. "Then she was never meant to survive." Aria felt the change before she was told. Security drones followed closer than ever. Her schedule was altered without explanation. She was summoned to a restricted sector. No other students were assigned with her. The place had no name on the map. Only a warning. Null zone, authorized subject only. An instructor with a hard face spoke without looking at her. "This is a survival evaluation," he said. "You will enter alone." "What's inside?" Aria asked. The instructor paused. "Nothing," he said. "That's the problem." The doors opened. Aria stepped in. The moment she crossed the threshold, everything vanished. Energy died. Light dimmed. Sound disappeared. The null zone swallowed her. Her communicator shut off. Her breathing echoed in her ears. This place was wrong. She took one step forward. Pain exploded through her body. The gravity here was uneven. It pulled and twisted without pattern. Aria fell to her knees. She tried to stand again. Something pushed her back down. Her muscles screamed. Her vision darkened. "This is where I die," she thought. But deep inside her, something answered. No. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. Time did not work properly in the null zone. Aria crawled across broken metal and dust. Her hands bled. Her body shook. Then she saw it. Ruins. Not Academy-made. Old stone. Cracked symbols. Human symbols. Her heart skipped. "Why is this here?" she whispered. As she touched one symbol, it reacted. Light pulsed softly. The gravity eased. The pain lessened. Memories flooded her mind. Not hers. A war across stars. Humans standing against endless darkness. A choice made to save the galaxy. to seal themselves, to forget. Aria screamed as the truth entered her. Humans were not weak. They were locked. And she was a key bearer. Outside the academy watched the null zone readings. They should have gone flat. They didn't. Energy levels began to rise. Impossible levels. "What is she doing?" an overseer whispered. She should be dead. Inside the ruins, Aria stood. Her wounds closed slowly. Her breathing steadied. She felt strong, not powerful, but complete. A voice echoed around her. "Awaken carefully." She shook her head. "I don't want this," she said. The voice answered gently. "You were never meant to want it." The ground trembled. The ancient door beneath the academy cracked open fully. A signal escaped into space. Aria staggered back toward the entrance. She did not glow. She did not change form. But the null zone bent around her. The doors opened on their own. She stepped out. The instructors stared in shock. No one spoke. She looked at them, eyes calm, voice steady. "You tried to break me," she said. "You almost did." Security alarms suddenly screamed. "External threat detected," the system announced. "Unknown fleet approaching." The leaders froze. Aria felt it too. A cold presence. Something old. Something angry. She turned toward the stars. "They felt me," she whispered. The academy had made its choice. And now the galaxy would pay the price. The stars outside the academy began to move. At first, no one understood what they were seeing. Then the sensors caught up. Ships, hundreds of them. Dark, silent, perfectly aligned. They did not use normal engines. They did not send messages. They simply appeared. The Academy's defense systems activated at once. Energy shields rose like glowing walls. Weapons charged. But the enemy fleet did not slow down. Inside the command center, leaders shouted orders. "Identify the fleet." No response. "Shields at maximum." Aria stood at the edge of the main hall watching the stars through the wide window. Her chest felt heavy. She knew these ships. Not by sight, by memory. "They found us," she said quietly. No one listened. The first attack came without sound. A wave passed through space. The Academy's outer shields flickered. Then failed. Weapons shut down. Lights dimmed. Systems crashed. Panic spread. Students ran through the halls. Some screamed. Some froze in fear. The ancient enemy ships moved closer. A single message finally arrived. Not spoken. Felt. "The sealed ones have awakened. Surrender the key." Aria closed her eyes. She stepped forward. "I won't let them take me," she said. An instructor grabbed her arm. "You can't fight this," he said desperately. "You're just one human." Aria gently pulled free. "I know," she replied. "That's why it has to be me." Explosions shook the academy. Parts of the structure broke away and drifted into space. Defense drones were destroyed in seconds. The strongest students tried to fight. Their powers failed. Their attacks did nothing. Fear ruled the halls. In the command chamber, the head overseer whispered in horror. "These are the same ships from the Forgotten War." The records appeared on damaged screens. Ancient enemy name, the Devourers of Silence. Status presumed extinct. They were not extinct. They were waiting. Aria moved toward the outer platform. Each step felt heavy but clear. She did not feel anger. She felt responsibility. As she reached the open platform, space stretched before her. No air, no sound, yet she could stand there. The ancient seal inside her responded, not fully broken, not fully closed. Balanced, one of the enemy ships moved closer. A shape formed on its surface. Tall, thin, without eyes. It spoke directly into her mind. "You are small. You are late." Aria answered out loud, her voice calm. "I'm human," she said. "And we always arrive late." The creature paused. "You ended us once," it said. "You sealed yourselves to survive." "We sealed ourselves," Aria replied, "so the galaxy could live." The creature felt confused. That was new. The enemy attacked her directly. A force slammed into her. Aria was thrown backward, crashing into the platform. Pain exploded through her body. Bones cracked. Blood floated in the air. Students watching screamed. "She's dead," someone whispered. But Aria moved. Slowly, she stood up. Her body repaired itself, not fast, not glowing, but steady. She breathed in. The space around her shifted. The enemy ship's attack bent away. Not blocked. Redirected. Aria reached out with her hand. She did not fire a weapon. She commanded memory. The ship trembled. Cracks spread across its surface. Inside it, the ancient enemy screamed, not in pain but in fear. "Impossible," it cried. "You are sealed." "I'm not unsealed," Aria said. "I'm awake." The ship collapsed inward and vanished. Silence filled space. The enemy fleet stopped. For the first time, they hesitated. Inside the academy, everyone watched in stunned silence. A human stood alone against an ancient fleet. And the fleet was afraid. The enemy voice returned, weaker now. "You are not a weapon," it said. "What are you?" Aria looked back at the academy. At the students. At the teachers. At the leaders who tried to break her. "I'm what happens," she said, "when you mistake patience for weakness." The enemy fleet began to pull back. Not defeated, but warned. As the ships vanished into darkness, the academy remained broken, but alive. Aria collapsed to her knees. She was still human, still tired, still bleeding, but the war had stopped. For now, and the galaxy would never forget what it saw. The battle was over. The stars outside the academy were quiet again, but the silence felt heavy. Broken metal drifted slowly through space. Emergency lights flickered inside the halls. Aria lay on the outer platform, breathing weakly. Instructors rushed toward her. Students followed, careful and silent. No one laughed now. No one whispered. They stared at her like they were seeing a new law of the universe. "She's alive," someone said softly. Aria opened her eyes. Every part of her body hurt. She felt small again, human again. She was glad. They carried her inside and placed her in the medical wing. Machines scanned her, confused and failing to understand. "Her body is normal," one medic said. "No enhanced organs, no energy core." Another whispered, "Then how did she do that?" No one had an answer. The academy leaders gathered again, but this time they did not sit high above. They stood at the center of the hall. When Aria walked in, supported by a brace, the entire room went silent. The head overseer stepped forward. For the first time, his voice was not cold. "You saved this academy," he said. "You saved many lives." Aria looked at him. "You tried to break me," she replied calmly. "You sent me to die." The overseer lowered his head. "We were afraid," he said. "And we were wrong." That moment shocked everyone more than the battle. The leader of the galaxy's elite academy bowed. Others followed. Teachers. Commanders. Even the strongest students. They bowed to a human. Professor Kale returned days later. His access was restored. His eyes were tired but proud. "The records are opening," he told Aria quietly. "The truth is spreading." Across the academy, hidden archives unlocked. The real history of humanity appeared. Not conquerors, not destroyers, guardians. Humans had ended the ancient war by choice, not force. They sealed their power to protect others from fear. And then they were forgotten. "That ends now," Aria said. The academy changed its rules. Humans were no longer listed as weak species. They were listed as restricted class. Not banned, respected. New students from many worlds asked to train beside humans. Not to fight like them, but to learn their endurance, their patience, their will. Aria returned to training, not as a weapon, but as a student. She failed some tests. She struggled. She laughed when she fell. That confused many people. "You could command fleets," one student said. "Why don't you?" Aria smiled gently. "Because power should answer to choice," she said. "Not the other way around." Far away, the ancient enemy watched from the dark. They did not attack. They remembered. Humanity was awake, not raging, not conquering. Watching, waiting. That scared them more than war ever had. On her final night of the term, Aria stood by the academy window. Stars stretched endlessly before her. She placed a hand on the glass. "I didn't want to be special," she whispered. The ancient presence inside her answered softly, "You are not special. You are human." She smiled. The galaxy's elite academy would never forget that day, the day they accepted a human girl and learned the truth too late. Humans were never weak. They were patient, and when they finally stood, the universe listened.